Okay, so get this. Someone suggested we do a deep dive on the 4 heavenly symbols of Chinese culture.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, clearly you're into more than just like fortune cookies,
Right.
which, by the way, aren't even really Chinese, but I digress.
Yeah.
These symbols, the Azure Dragon, Vermilion Bird, White Tiger, and Black Tortoise,
Hmm.
they're like the all-star team of Chinese mythology.
For sure.
And there's so much more than just like these cool creatures.
Yeah.
We're talking directions, seasons, elements,
The
virtue.
whole shebang.
Yeah, the whole
What
shebang.
fascinates me is how these symbols,
Yeah.
like, they're so deeply woven into the fabric of Chinese culture.
Mm-hmm.
They're not just figures in mythology,
Yeah.
They're like keys to understanding how ancient China viewed the cosmos, nature,
Mm.
even human behavior.
Right.
It's incredible.
Okay, so let's start with the Azure Dragon of the East.
Okay.
I always picture like emperors and those amazing robes,
Yeah.
palaces decked out in dragon motifs.
Right.
It's got that imperial powerful vibe, right?
Yeah, you're picking up on something really important there.
Yeah.
The Azure Dragon's definitely linked to power,
Mm-mm.
but specifically it's about the kind of power that comes from prosperity,
Okay.
especially the agricultural kind.
Mm-hmm.
So imagine ancient China, right?
Yeah.
Rain meant good harvests,
Right.
which meant a thriving civilization.
Of course.
And the Azure Dragon was seen as the bringer of that, like, life-giving rain.
So it's not just a symbol of power.
Right.
It's like a symbol of the source of that power.
Exactly.
Yeah. It makes you wonder if the reverence for the Azure Dragon
Yeah.
is tied to that dependence on rain for survival.
Precisely. And it's interesting to note that in Chinese mythology, dragons are often benevolent,
Oh, really?
which is a stark contrast to
Yeah.
like the fire-breathing monsters of Western lore.
Right, like completely different. It
Yeah.
makes me wonder, do you think that difference in perception
Mm-hmm.
stems from how each culture viewed the natural world?
Yeah.
Like maybe in cultures where nature was seen as like harsher or more unpredictable, dragons became symbols of that destructive force.
That's a really insightful observation.
Yeah.
It definitely highlights how cultural context shapes our interpretations of these powerful symbols.
Right.
The Azure Dragon's benevolence
Mm-hmm.
is deeply connected to its role as a guardian of the East
Okay.
and a bringer of prosperity, reflecting a worldview
Mm-hmm.
where nature and humanity coexist in this delicate balance.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on to the Vermilion Bird of the South.
All right.
This one, I have to admit, is visually stunning.
Yeah.
Those fiery reds, the grace, and that whole phoenix-like rebirth thing.
The Vermilion Bird is captivating.
Yeah.
It represents fire, passion,
Mm-hmm.
the peak of summer,
Mm.
and those like brilliant red feathers.
Yeah.
They symbolize not just beauty,
Mm.
but virtue
Right.
and good fortune.
Okay, so I'm also thinking about the yin and yang pairings
Yeah.
you see in Chinese art.
Uh-huh.
The Vermilion Bird is often depicted with the Azure Dragon,
Right.
representing yin, the feminine energy.
Yes.
Do you think those pairings evolved from the... Okay, so let's talk about the White Tiger of the West.
Mm.
Now, this one just like screams protector to me. Right. Strength, courage, that sort of unwavering presence.
Yeah.
I feel like it would really resonate with you if you're into like martial arts.
Uh,
Or maybe even just like trying to tap into your own inner strength.
yeah, the white tiger embodies the metal element and autumn,
Okay.
a time of year when things are harvested and stored away in preparation for winter.
Right.
It represents not just like physical strength, but the courage to face challenges head on
Mm-hmm.
and stand up for what's right.
Like a warrior.
Yeah, think of a tiger's fierce protection of its territory.
Right.
Its unwavering focus.
So it's not just brute force. It's like
Yeah.
very directed strength with
Yeah.
a sense of purpose.
Yeah,
It's fascinating how each of these symbols embodies a different kind of power.
it is.
Like the Azure Dragon is about the life-giving force of nature,
Mm-hmm.
while the White Tiger is more about using power to protect and
Mm.
maintain order.
Exactly. And that ties into the white tiger's role as a guardian of the West,
Okay.
a force that maintains cosmic balance and stability.
Even in the face of chaos.
Even in the face of
Yeah.
chaos. It's not about aggression for the sake of it,
Right.
but about using strength to safeguard what's important.
Okay, and last but certainly not least, we have the Black Tortoise of the North.
Okay.
If the White Tiger is like the warrior, the Black Tortoise is the wise old sage, right?
Yeah, I like that.
Wisdom, longevity, that kind of quiet strength that comes from enduring tough times.
Yeah, the black tortoise is all about resilience
Mm-hmm.
and the wisdom that comes from experience,
Hmm.
from weathering those storms and coming out the other side.
Right.
It embodies the water element,
Okay.
But here it's the deep, still waters of winter,
Mm.
representing introspection and the slow, steady accumulation of knowledge.
It's funny, you'd think a creature known for its slowness
Right.
wouldn't be associated with longevity, but it makes sense when you think about it.
Yeah.
It's about like steady perseverance, not burning out quickly. Uh-huh.
It's almost like a metaphor for how we approach challenges in life, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. The Black Tortoise teaches us that true strength lies in endurance,
Mm-hmm.
in navigating life's complexities with patience,
Yeah.
and a willingness to learn from our experiences.
Right. It's not always about being the fastest or the loudest,
Exactly.
but about having that steady, unyielding presence
Yeah,
that allows us to overcome obstacles.
I love that.
So we've got these four incredible symbols,
Mm-hmm.
each representing a different direction,
Mm.
element, and virtue.
Right.
But they're not just these separate entities, are they?
No, they're not.
They seem to work together almost like a compass
Uh-huh.
for understanding the world and our place in it.
That's a powerful way to look at it.
Yeah.
They represent a holistic view of the universe,
Mhm.
a way of understanding how seemingly opposite forces
Right.
are actually interconnected and essential for maintaining balance.
It's a concept that runs deep in Chinese thought.
Deep, yeah.
Now, you mentioned Feng Shui earlier.
Yeah, and I have to admit, I'm a little curious about how these symbols actually play out in that context.
Okay.
I know each symbol corresponds to a direction in the home,
Mm,
but how does that translate into like practical applications?
Well, in Feng Shui, the idea is to create a harmonious living space
Okay,
that aligns with the natural energies of the cosmos.
right.
And the four heavenly symbols act as a sort of guide for doing that.
Okay, so for example, the Azure Dragon is associated with the East.
Yes.
And you said earlier that the east side of a home is linked to health and growth.
Uh-huh.
So if I wanted to boost those areas of my life, I would focus on that side of my house.
Exactly. You could incorporate elements that resonate with the Azure Dragon's energy.
Okay.
Think wooden furniture plants, even the color green.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about literally placing a dragon statue there,
Right.
but about understanding the symbolism
Yeah.
and using it to create a space that supports those aspects of your life.
So it's like you're setting the stage for the kind of energy you want to invite in.
Ye-
But what if I'm someone who's always felt drawn to the white tiger's protective energy?
Okay.
How would I incorporate that into my space?
The white tiger is associated with the West,
Mm-hmm.
a direction often linked to strength and the ability to overcome obstacles.
Okay.
So if you're feeling vulnerable or like you need a boost of inner strength,
Right.
focusing on the west side of your home could be beneficial.
And since the white tiger is associated with the metal element,
Yes,
I'm guessing that means incorporating like metal objects or decor?
exactly. Metal sculptures, wind chimes, even just clean, uncluttered spaces
Oh, okay.
can evoke a sense of order and strength.
Right.
It's about aligning your environment with the energy you want to cultivate within yourself.
Now, I have to ask for someone who might be new to Feng Shui.
Right.
This might all sound a bit esoteric.
Sure.
Is there any scientific basis to any of this? Or is it purely symbolic?
That's a fair question. While Feng Shui isn't a scientifically proven method,
Right.
there's a growing body of research on how our environment impacts our well-being.
Okay.
We know that things like natural light colors and even the arrangement of furniture can influence our mood, productivity, and sleep patterns.
So even if we can't scientifically measure the energy of the white tiger, for example,
Right.
the idea of creating a space that feels calming and organized
Yes.
can have real psychological benefits.
Exactly, and in a way that speaks to the deeper wisdom of these symbols.
Mm.
They offer a framework for understanding how we interact with the world around us,
Right.
both on a physical and energetic level.
It makes you wonder if these ancient practices were, in a way, tapping into something fundamental about the human experience, even if they didn't have the scientific language to explain it back then.
That's a really intriguing thought,
Yeah.
and it highlights how these symbols continue to hold relevance even in our modern world.
Okay, but before we get too deep into that,
Yeah.
I want to circle back to something you mentioned earlier,
Okay.
the artistic representations of these symbols.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of those incredible dragon robes worn by emperors,
Yes.
or the fierce tiger statues you see guarding temples.
Right.
Each depiction seems to tell a story.
The visual representations of the four heavenly symbols are truly captivating.
Yeah.
They've been depicted in countless forms throughout history,
Mm.
from intricate paintings and sculptures to everyday objects like pottery and textiles.
Wow.
Each one offers a glimpse into the cultural beliefs and artistic traditions of ancient China.
And it's not just about the visual beauty, right?
No, it's not.
Every detail, from the colors to the poses to the accompanying symbols, adds another layer of meaning.
Right.
It's like a visual language that speaks to the power, beauty, and wisdom
Yes.
embodied by these creatures.
You're absolutely right. It's fascinating how these depictions have evolved over time,
Yeah.
reflecting changing social values and artistic styles,
Mm-hmm.
but the core symbolism remains remarkably consistent,
It's incredible.
demonstrating the enduring power of these figures in the Chinese imagination.
It's incredible how these symbols continue to inspire artists even today,
I know, it's amazing.
popping up in modern art, graphic design, even tattoos.
Yeah,
It speaks to their universal appeal, doesn't it?
it does. Yeah.
Like they're tapping into something that transcends time and cultural boundaries.
Absolutely.
Mm.
They offer a timeless framework
Mm.
for understanding ourselves and the world around us,
Yeah.
reminding us of the importance of balance, harmony, and the interconnectedness of all things.
Okay, so welcome back to our final stretch of this deep dive
Mm-hmm.
into the four heavenly symbols. I feel like we've covered a lot of ground already,
We have.
from their mythological origins to their presence in Feng Shui and art, but there's still so much to explore.
There is. These symbols are really like a doorway
Yeah,
into a whole world of cultural understanding.
I agree.
They pop up in so many unexpected places.
Okay, so for this last part, I
Yeah.
want to dig into some of those connections. Like, for example, I know a lot of people are fascinated by the Chinese zodiac.
Yeah.
Do the four heavenly symbols have any relationship to astrology?
They absolutely do. In Chinese astrology, the four heavenly symbols are associated with specific constellations
Really?
visible in the night sky. It's not just mythical creatures, they have actual celestial counterparts.
So it's like they're bridging the gap
Mhm.
between like the earthly realm and the cosmos?
Exactly.
That's so cool. Can you give us an example?
Sure. The Azure Dragon
Okay.
is linked to a group of 7 stars in the eastern sky, known as the Azure Dragon constellation,
Mhm.
and those stars are believed to influence people's destinies and personalities.
So someone born under the Azure Dragon constellation
Yeah.
might have certain traits associated with the dragon, like
True.
maybe they're ambitious,
Yeah.
have a natural leadership quality,
Yeah.
or are drawn to nature since the dragon is connected to wood.
Exactly. It's all about understanding how these celestial influences
Right.
shape our individual paths,
Mm.
adding another layer to the complex tapestry of Chinese astrology.
Okay, now we've also talked a bit about yin and yang,
Yes.
especially with the Vermilion Bird and Azure Dragon pairing.
Uh-huh.
Are there other philosophical concepts tied to these symbols?
Yeah.
Maybe something like Taoism?
Yes, Taoism is key here.
Okay.
The four heavenly symbols are very much intertwined with Taoist philosophy,
Mm-hmm.
which emphasizes balance, harmony, and living in accordance with the natural order.
So could we say that each symbol embodies a different facet of that balance?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You could even view them as representing the fundamental forces
Okay.
governing the universe.
Mm-hmm.
The Azure Dragon, for example, embodies growth and expansion.
Uh-huh.
The Vermilion Bird represents transformation and renewal.
Okay.
The White Tiger symbolizes strength
Mm-hmm.
and the protection of what's right.
And the Black Tortoise.
The Black Tortoise embodies wisdom and stability.
It's like they each play a crucial role
Yes.
in maintaining that cosmic equilibrium that Taoism talks about. And by understanding these principles,
Yeah.
we can maybe gain insight into our own lives
Mhm.
and how to create more harmony, right?
That's a core idea in Taoism for sure. It's
Mm.
not just about observing these forces at play in the universe.
Yeah.
It's about cultivating those qualities within ourselves
Okay.
to live more balanced and fulfilling lives.
Okay, I have to ask
With
because I can already picture it.
Mm-hmm.
Does the White Tiger have any connection to martial arts?
Mm.
I mean, the strength, the
Yeah.
focus?
Yeah.
It seems like a natural fit.
You're spot on. The White Tiger is often associated with martial prowess, the warrior spirit.
Yeah.
Lots of martial arts styles incorporate movements and techniques
Okay.
inspired by a tiger's power and agility.
So when you see those fierce tiger claw strikes
Yeah.
or those like lightning fast reflexes,
Okay.
it's not just for show.
Right.
It's drawing on the symbolism of the white tiger.
Exactly. It represents the discipline focus
Mm-hmm.
and unwavering spirit essential for mastering martial arts.
Mm-hmm. And I imagine it goes beyond just the physical aspects of martial arts, too.
Yeah.
It's about cultivating that inner strength, the
Mhm.
courage to face challenges head on, just like the white tiger defends its territory.
Absolutely. It's about harnessing that inner tiger,
Right.
both on and off the mat, so to speak.
Yeah.
It's about developing those qualities
Yeah.
that help us navigate life's inevitable challenges
Mm.
with grace and resilience.
Now, before we wrap up this deep dive,
Okay.
I have to ask about literature.
Mm-hmm.
Have the four heavenly symbols popped up in any famous Chinese stories or myths?
Oh, tons.
Really?
They've been a rich source of inspiration for countless tales throughout history.
Wow.
From myths and legends to folk tales and even classical literature, they add layers of symbolism and meaning to the narratives.
So they're not just characters,
Right.
they represent deeper archetypes and universal themes.
Exactly. They embody the human struggle for balance,
Mm-hmm.
the pursuit of knowledge, the triumph over adversity, the eternal cycles of life and death and rebirth.
Yeah. It's amazing how these symbols, born out of ancient mythology,
I know, it's incredible.
still have so much to teach us about the human experience.
And that's what makes them so endlessly fascinating,
Yeah.
right? They offer a timeless lens through which to view ourselves and the world around us.
Yeah.
They remind us of the interconnectedness of all things,
Right.
a concept that feels more relevant now than ever.
So, as we wrap up our deep dive into the four heavenly symbols,
Yeah.
I'm left with a sense of awe at the depth and breadth of their influence.
Mm-hmm.
It's clear that these symbols aren't just ancient relics.
No, they're not.
They're living, breathing concepts that continue to shape Chinese culture and beyond.
And remember, this is just the beginning of your exploration.
Right.
These symbols are like gateways to a whole world of knowledge and understanding.
Yeah.
I encourage you to seek them out in art literature, even in the natural world around you. You might be surprised where you find them and what they reveal to you.
Well said. Oh. And on that note, we'll bid you farewell. May the Azure Dragon bring you prosperity, the Vermilion Bird inspire transformation, the White Tiger lend you strength,
Yes.
and the Black Tortoise guide you with wisdom.
Wonderful.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep seeking those deeper meanings that enrich our understanding of the world.